I just want to walk with no pain. I just want the pain gone. The pain it's horrible. It's horrible. And it's enough to keep me on this thing.
Mairwyn, can you tell us how you got started with Carnivore and then give us an update since we last spoke?
Well, it started with my introduction to low carb. Oh, a little while ago now, probably about 15 years ago, I was on Tony Ferguson. And that was my first introduction into a low carb diet. And then years went, I did really well on it. I lost about 60 kilos, did really well. But, they don't teach you anything. And put it all back on. I basically looked in the mirror one day. I'm like, who's that? And it went whooshka, opposite direction, frightened the living daylights out of me. And so years passed over a period. I even got into jeans. But anyway, years went by and I put all the weight back on, of course. And then a friend of mine suggested a ketogenic diet. Now, I like that because my whole punchline, my whole selling point of a ketogenic diet is who wouldn't want cheesecake for breakfast? So that was my whole selling point for the ketogenic diet. I was happy with that, very happy because it's a valid point. And then later on, is December last year, really, friend of mine, he mentioned that there was a friend who was on a carnivore lifestyle. I'm like, a what now? They said, oh, they're carnivore. I said, does they just eat meat? Yeah. I went, huh? That was like, wait, what? But, went to YouTube, typed in carnivore, and and that, yeah, the rest, as they say, is history. And here I am, 5 months down the track. And golly, this is my third time I've spoken to you, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, third time, yeah.
Third time. My goodness me. So the first time I came in, I was probably less than a month in. And hello, euphoria. Oh, but I mean, there were changes. The biggest change initially was the clarity. Oh boy, that fog lift. It's not completely gone, but I'd say about 95% of it has gone. Better mental health. Ooh, blooper reel. Better mental health. The kids don't really know what to do with it because I may or may not be just a little bit more cutting than usual. But hey, hi, I'm your mother. Nice to meet you. So yeah, I do believe that clarity and that mental health lifts very early on, and it seems to be a trend. Everybody that I've watched an interview of on here have said the same thing. It's the mental clarity that's come up first, and the mental health, and that happens for a reason. And so I've been saying it for ages. That happens for a reason because the stuff that you deal with on an emotional and mental level, you would not be able to handle it unless you had that clarity. You just couldn't. So yeah, that was the first time. I mean, so since I've started, so I've been on it like 5 months, nearly 6 months, I've lost 35 kilos, which is about 75-ish pounds, various measurements. But the measurements are doing this. They're all up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And, previous diets that I've been on, I'd be like, oh, I'm putting on weight. My measurements are going up. Oh, no. Meltdown. I'm just not worried because it's not about getting to your goal weight. It's about healing your body, folks. And if you're on this as a lifestyle change, then if you're just going to continue to eat meat, What worries do you have? It's going to move eventually. And, you know, I made a joke with my husband in that I said, well, you know, this is a healing lifestyle, a healing diet. And that poor little porterhouse steak has got a lot to heal. There's a lot going on in this body of mine. It's got a lot of work to do. And that's not going to, it took me 10 years to get me into this mess. I'm going to be kind here. I'm saying it's going to take about 5 years to get me out. And you've got to be fine with that. You have to. Don't think it's going to take you 5 minutes. You're going to have some patience. You know, there is an order in which your body will heal. There is an order. Up here first, in, and then out.
Yeah.
It takes time.
So when you think about kind of getting you out of this, right? Part of that would be weight loss, but what else would it be? Are there the things like joint pain and stuff like that? And have you been noticing any improvements along the way?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's put it this way. I no longer take Celebrex, which is like a prescription form of like diclofenac or Voltaren, right? So I don't take those anymore. I don't take the glucosamine with turmeric anymore. I was taking that twice a day. That's gone. I don't take sleeping tablets to actually sleep anymore because I'm sleeping so much better. So much better. I still take a multivitamin. The only thing I do take is the Panadol Osteo. And if I'm being completely honest, I think that's because I'm scared of extra pain. I can handle the pain that I've got, which is less. And it would have to be less if I've stopped taking those. And I stopped taking those like about 6 weeks in. 6 weeks in. Yeah. They were gone within 6 weeks. Let me see. That's about it on the medications phase. I even got myself a nasty cold. Well, I thought it was a cold. And I was hanging on. It loved me. Had this thing for about 3 weeks, and I took Codral cold and flu tablets. I did what I needed to do to keep comfortable. Okay? I did not take antibiotics. I was like, oh, I'm not ready for that kind of conversation yet with my doctor. Thanks. No. And, you know, I took what I had to be comfortable. And I actually went into a live stream with Dr. Chaffee, and I paid for a super chat. And I mentioned that I'd had this cold for about 3 weeks, been on Carnivore since 1st of January. So imagine my surprise when he actually answered my super chat, and he said, it is likely that because you've been healing your body from the 1st of January, that what is presenting as a cold to you is actually flu. I'm like, wait, what? I'm getting lessened symptoms because of this thing? Huh? It blew my mind. Blew my mind, but made sense. It made sense. What other changes? I am moving quicker. I'm still on my walking stick, but I am moving quicker. My husband seems to think I'm a little bit more sprightly, you know, like they usually mean that somebody's moving a little bit quicker. But that has also changed because I've been using a vibration plate for the last couple of weeks. Oh my God, the best thing I've bought. And I don't think this should be limited to somebody who is in my position of 400 pounds, but I think everybody should have one. There are caveats to using one, like people with pacemakers and stuff can't use them. But if you are in a position to have a vibration plate, get one. Because one of the important things in this is if you've got a sluggish lymphatic system, I mean, I don't have a sluggish lymphatic system. I have got one that doesn't move at all. So, yeah, honestly, I love the thing. It's I'm about 5 kilos away from being able to stand on it because of its weight limitation. And even though I'm just sitting there using it, there have been differences to my legs already. I can feel like in the last couple of days, I've been feeling the need to stretch the back of my legs, the calf muscles. I just need to stretch. I just need to stretch. It's like, oh, the relief from stretching. So something's going on, that's for sure. That's for sure. And I started like 5 minutes when I was using it. Now I go twice a day, minimum 10 minutes each session. Sometimes it's 15 minutes and it's like, this feels so good. I sit there with my coffee in the morning and so yeah, I love it. I love it. Even my eldest son has had a go of it too. Everybody's had a go. Guess what everyone's getting for Christmas? I'm not buying them donuts and chocolate.
Fill their stockings up with vibration plates.
Have to be a big stocking. Yeah. I just think that anybody who can use one of these should. They should.
Well, so it's like a feeling of being refreshed when you finish using it.
It kind of does. And I was warned that it may become a little addictive. They weren't wrong. Thank goodness the thing shuts off after 15 minutes and needs a break for 20 minutes because if I had it out here underneath my desk, I'd be having conversations like this. Hello, do you need anything? Oh, what is it you need? I'd be
So
I'd be on it all the
yeah,
time.
we talked about this before we started recording. Like the people I've spoken to that have a vibration plate, everyone says the same thing. They fall in love with it after the first time they've used it. It's yeah. So I'm gonna have to try
Some
one
people
myself.
buy microwaves. Some people buy microwaves. Me, I buy a vibration plate. I've had more joy out of that than I have out of a microwave. It's fantastic. The other morning when I got it, usually when you turn it on, it's like, oh, it's a bit of a jolt, but it's like, oh, that feels good. But the other morning when I actually got on it, it was like instant, oh, that feels so good. It's fantastic. I can't wait to stand on it. Oh, yeah, can't wait to stand on it because then we're going to see some serious business. I mean, there's a lot of me to vibrate, but hey, got to start somewhere.
Well, so I mean, can you contrast like from the first time we spoke to now? I mean, has your outlook about things changed at all? Like, would you say you're more positive now because you've been on it longer and you feel like, oh, this is even easier than I thought it was going to be, or is it pretty much the same?
Eating the meat is easy. Eating the meat is easy. It is the mental and emotional part of it. Somebody very early on said in one of my comments, welcome to Carnivore, you're in for a heck of a ride. They were not wrong. And I firmly believe the reason why the clarity comes out first and the mental health is because you're dealing with the emotional side of things and the mental side of things. I'm up and down all the time, and you've got to have your wits about you and how you're going to deal with that because it's a lot. It is a lot, and it's at you all the time. If you get a break from it, like now, for instance, I've got a break, I feel great because mentally I've got no issues that are bogging me down. When that happens, take it and run with it and enjoy it because the hard times, there's a good chance that the hard times will be hard. And it's like a roller coaster. You've got to get to the other end of the ride before you can get off and evaluate what's going on. And it's hard. I'm not gonna dress this up with pretty bows and ribbons and tell you that it's a, I can't say cakewalk anymore. It's not a meat walk. Eating the meat is easy, but the emotional and mental side of it, ooh, that is hard work. And it is work that I'm prepared to do because I just can't live like this anymore. I just can't. I can't. I can't do it to myself. I've already done the worst I could possibly do to myself by putting myself in this position in the first place. And this level of damage that I've done to my body, it's traumatized me enough to not want to go back there. I can't. I can't. It would be criminal. I can't see me eating bread anymore. I can't see me eating vegetables anymore. Fruit can go bye-byes. I honestly cannot see me eating anything other than meat. I mean, even things like cream cheese. Cheese, period. Would I love a little block of cheese? Oh, yeah. Love me some cheese. Haven't touched it in 5 months. I can't. I haven't had any seasoning except salt for 5 months. I haven't had any Pepsi Max. I haven't had any Coke Zero. I haven't had any sugary drinks. I've had no fruit juice. I've had nothing like that. I've had my little bubbly water in a flask with some ice and my electrolytes that have salt, potassium, and magnesium in them. Because I have restless legs, I'm thinking that maybe the restless legs has something to do with the fact that the lymphedema and lipedema is just a little bit, and that may be a thing of the past once I've got that under control and my lymphatic system is moving the way it should. I don't know, but I cannot. Like we just recently had 3 days ago, my eldest turned 21, and I wouldn't deny him a birthday cake, especially for 21. You know, it's a milestone. Excuse me, they're coming to take me away. Haha. So they should. So we did this, sang the happy birthday thing. He blew out the candles. He cut his piece and walked away. And I said, so is anybody else going to have a piece of cake? Right? And my mother-in-law was standing there, my eldest son's friend, my youngest and my husband, all standing around the cake, looking at it. And I'm like, should I be mother? So there's me, a full-on carnivore for 5 months, cutting up a black forest gâteau for my family. I had to, cutting it up, I had cream and chocolate sponge and cherries over my hands. What's the first thing you do when you get cake on your hands? You go, I didn't. I washed my hands.
And was it a reaction like, I want to lick my fingers, but I need to wash my hands? Or was it, I got to get this garbage off my hands?
The reaction was, I need to get this crud off my fingers, not,
Uh,
oh, I wish I could lick my fingers. I didn't
yeah.
even like, I could smell it. I could smell the cake. I didn't even like the smell of the cake. I'm like, oh, ew. No, me no likey. And I just had to wash my hands. I was happy to serve it for them. But of all the people in the house that was cutting up this flippin' birthday cake, it was me. What? But I did it. I mean, when we had Anzac Day here, I did a video of me putting my nose in this packet of Anzac biscuits and then putting it down and walking away from it. That's what it takes. Willpower, strength. If you cut that all out, if you cut all the carbs out and all the sugars, of course, it's an addiction. It's not going to be easy to start with. Of course, it's not going to be easy. But tell yourself that it's not going to be easy. It's like any other addiction, and that it's going to be difficult. And dig your heels in. I did. You have to. If it's worth it to you, you will do it. It's like if you build it, he will come. If you stop eating it, it will go.
So yeah, it's interesting you say that, right? Because I feel like
Yeah.
people our age, we will typically when we're talking to our kids or our kids or whatever, we'll be like, you know, if you want something, you've got to work hard for it. You've got to put in the effort. You want to pass that exam, you've got to study. You want to get that promotion in your job, you've got to do it, right? But then
Yep.
typically when it comes to like our eating, we're not very good at taking the same advice, right?
No.
Until of course you discover carnivore. But it's
Well, yeah.
yeah, like as adults, yeah, we're not very good at following that advice, but we're very good at
No.
dispensing it.
Oh, I'm brilliant at it, if you might brilliant giving unsolicited advice, dear. I'm very good at that. But I mean, I've come to terms. I mean, my husband is eating an awful lot more meat. He's lost weight. He's actually lighter now than he was before I met him. He is the weight he was when he was 18.
Really?
Yup. And that's
Wow.
just an increase of meat. And now, there's two kinds of people in this dieting world, if you like. We've got moderators and we've got abstainers. I'm an abstainer. I'm just better off not having it at all. My husband's a moderator. He's good at it. I can't. I just can't.
He can have like one M&M out the packet and be satisfied.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I think I'm in the same camp as yourself.
See, for me, ice cream, yeah, nah. It's the whole lot or not at all. So he could have like half a bag of lollies, put it away, and leave it there for a week and won't touch it until the following week, say. I could strangle him. So jealous. But anyway, once you've identified that you are one or the other, that's going to be a nice little feather in your cap, because then you'll know where you stand mentally. Because if you're an abstainer like me and you realize, okay, so I'm better off not having that ever again, and you just come to, I'm good with it. If I never have ice cream again, I'm good with it. If I never have cake again, I'm good with it. If I never have peanut butter again, I'm good with it. Vegemite, Promite, all of that stuff that I used to love. If I never have them again, I'm good with it, because I know that it's just not going to help me. It really won't.
And yeah, I mean, there is a point where we get into that kind of the mindset kind of shifts, I think, whereas where we can kind of look at things much more objectively and go, it's just not going to do me any favors to have this anymore. It doesn't matter how much I like it.
Yep.
I can say no to it because I know that it's going to wreak havoc on my body.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's another level to it as well. And it's a big deal, and it's only just occurred to me in the last few days. I'm going to cover it in my midweek video. But the thing is, when you're an abstainer, you've already come to terms with the fact that, okay, I won't be having bread again. I won't be having ice cream again. I won't be having cakes again. But it's not just about that. What you've got to be careful of. You've got to be careful with the endless recipes that are out there of things that are keto friendly, carnivore friendly, that could trigger the memory of those things. When you are an abstainer, You've got to be mindful of that. Oh, look at that. Carnivore ice cream. I already know that, yep, sure, I could make it. And it probably tastes wonderful. And it is probably very carnivore friendly and a really good way to get a nice, good fat bomb into you. But for somebody whose arch nemesis was ice cream, having something like that, if I made a liter of that, I'd eat the whole thing, which means I can't even have substitutes either because of the memory of what I used to have. You got to think of those things too. And that's only occurred to me in the last couple of days. I'm quite certain that those carnivore friendly cakes are mwah. Watch the recipes. And I'm like, oh, dang, that looks good. But yeah, I'd be eating the whole thing. Can't have it. If it's going to
And
trigger a memory of something you loved, this is where I am, folks.
yeah, I think I really think this is probably good policy for anyone who's an abstainer. Because, like, you made me think about, often people have said to me, because I like ice cream as well, and often people have
Yeah,
said to me, "Well, you should try Dr. Kiltz's ice cream," and I'm like,
I would love to.
I
I'd love to.
yeah, I'm
Can't.
not even gonna watch it because, I've just gotta see it looks nice, and
Yeah.
I'll be upside down underneath 3 empty tubs of the stuff, you know? Like, I'm it's you know,
I love it.
where's
You're
Dave?
not
He's
wrong.
behind the
I'm
t
there with you.
Where's Dave? He's behind the upside down behind the TV, covered in ice cream tubs. Eh, nothing
I
against Dr.
mean, yeah,
Kiltz, I'm sure it's
no,
great,
not
but
at
yeah,
all.
I can't,
But
just
I'm just,
because of my
yeah,
personality,
yeah.
I've got to abstain.
Since I've been up here in Queensland, I've gone ketogenic maybe 2 times, right? And there is a brand of bread out here called Alpine bread, and it is low carb, not zero, but low carb. All right. One slice, okay, sure, with butter and peanut butter. When it's on ketogenic, you've got a bit of leeway, right, with your carbohydrates. Was well within the realms, but that one slice of low carb bread turned into 2. And that 2 slices of low carb bread turned into 4. And it was very shortly after that that those 4 slices of bread, the Alpine bread, turned into 4 slices of ordinary white bread. It's a slippery slope. Very, very slippery. Better off just not having it when you're an abstainer. Better off not having it. Just don't even go there.
35 kilos down, so
Yep.
75 pounds down.
Yep.
The pain is better.
Yep. It's not
Um,
gone, but it's better.
Not gone, but it's better. Um, like, if you could just see one thing start to improve between now and, or improve more between now and, say, the end of the year, what would be that thing? Would it be just more weight loss, or would it be something about the pain, or
I just want the leg pain gone. I want to
Mm,
be not using my walking stick. It's driving me mental. I just want to walk with no pain. I just want the pain gone. The pain it's horrible. It's horrible. And it's enough to keep me on this thing. You know, you got people who have lost legs, had heart attacks, gone through all sorts of things, but it's not quite enough. Not quite enough. But the pain for me
mm.
is enough. I
It
can't.
is that in your
I want,
knees and your back?
well, now it's in my back because now I know things are moving. The lymphatic system in the center, it is starting to circulate and move, and I'm getting those old lower back aches and pains again. And it's like, yep, that's fine. I know exactly what's happening. I know why it's happening. It's all good. But it's going to take time. Will it be gone by the end of the year? I don't know. I don't know. But, about a month ago, I took a photograph of myself just wearing my bra, and I've done a lot of damage to my body. It took 10 years. 10 years. There's a lot of lymphedema, lipedema. There's a lot going on. And I'll be generous. It's probably going to take half that time to get rid of all the pain. So it took 10 years to create that problem, and that's on me. That's on me. So it's probably going to take a good 5 years to fix that. And if all I have to do is put meat into my body, then okay, I'm good with it.
You know, it feels like 5 years. Wow, that's, you know, but I think the and please tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the thing that is positive about carnivore is you can feel the changes, like there is an improvement over time. It's not like, oh yeah, well, if you just, you know, restrict calories for 10 years, you know, things will eventually get better. But like week to week, month to month, you can notice changes happening
Oh
and
yeah,
things
for
getting
sure.
better. Yeah.
For sure. And the thing
Mm.
is, when you actually sort of give in and say, okay, so meat it is, and when you give in to that wholeheartedly, like I said, my measurements are like up and down, up and down, up and down, haphazard, going nuts, going crazy. They're all over the place. But when you've really given yourself to this lifestyle, there's nothing to worry about. I'm not worried. Like I put on centimeters from, last week to the week before. And my husband said, well, gosh, that's weird. I said, yeah, I'm not worried. I said, almost bordering on, I don't care because I know it's going to fix itself anyway. But you have to completely give yourself to the mindset, to the lifestyle itself in order to get to that place. Because like I said, years ago, I'd put on centimeters, and even accounting for being a woman that time of the month around the waist, you're going to put measurements on. It happened every week. I don't have that problem anymore, thank God. But I'm just not worried because I know that it's all going to come out in the wash, so to speak. Because I mean, I'm not going anywhere with eating the meat. So chances are, if I continue doing this, things are just going to continue to heal anyway. I'll continue to lose weight. My lymphatic system will start doing what it should be doing. Things will just naturally happen if I just keep eating the meat. And like I said, once you give yourself to that mentality and that way of eating, that way of life, then you've got nothing really to worry about in terms of the measurements and the weight, because it's just going to happen anyway, because you're already doing what you need to do.
So in our first video, you talked about how you'd been given weight loss drugs as a child.
Oh,
Um,
yes. Yes.
and we were talking before, and there was something you found out about that weight loss drug. Could you maybe just recount the history of that, and then maybe tell us what you found out?
Yeah, Ponderax. They're since been, as far as I know, they're still off the market. They were taken off the market because they were found to cause heart problems. Gee, what a surprise. Surprised, not surprised. So at about the age of 9, when I was in boarding school, I was put on these appetite suppressants called Ponderax P-caps. Oh, they worked. You really didn't feel like eating. And I just did it because, I was at boarding school. I figured that the doctor there had my best interest at heart and had already spoken to my parents about it. I was 9. And, I'd been taking these things for a little while. Mum was in the country at one point. I got the rare occasion to go home for a weekend, which was really exciting because I hadn't seen her for months. And of course, I was given my Ponderax to take over the weekend. Mum caught me taking, she said, what's that? I said, oh, these are the medications, Mum, as if to say, this is what you probably already know about, kind of thing. And she said, I never said anything about you going on. No one's talked to me about it. So she took one. And yeah, it was kind of like living with Lady Macbeth. They didn't affect me like that, but her mood change was like bang. So there was a lengthy, very cutting message letter that was sent to the headmistress of the boarding school for Monday. It was very cutting. I wonder where I got it from. So silly me in the last few months decided to do some research on this thing because, when you start reading labels, yeah. So I did some research and I found out that Ponderax Paycaps was originally designed for children that have Dravet syndrome. Dravet's is they have seizures, like you never know when they're going to happen. And the poor darlings don't usually have a very long life. It's a case of, is this seizure going to be the one? It's that type of situation. It's devastating. So these particular things were originally manufactured for children with Dravet syndrome. And the original, leaflet inside said, if your child experiences weight loss, please contact your doctor immediately. So the repackaging of things with the weight loss side effects has been going on for a long time. And it happened with Ponderax because it
So
suppressed the appetite.
it's like the original Ozempic or something.
Pretty
Wow.
much. Pharmaceutical companies have been doing that for years. It's really, really sad. It's
And
really sad.
do you know if you haven't had any effects from that, lasting
No,
effects that you know of?
no,
Oh,
I don't have
okay.
any. I don't. I'm very lucky. When I had my first son, the doctors were quite convinced that I was going to be a plethora of problems because of my weight. And happy to report that the doctor said, well, if I had a stamp that said boring, that's exactly what I'd put on your case, she said, because I honestly thought that you'd have high blood pressure, gestational diabetes, all sorts of problems. She said, and you didn't have any of that. I said, oh, well, I don't know, you're welcome. But she was good about it, Dr. King. She was fantastic about it. Loved her to death, and I've always remembered her. She was great. Same thing with my second pregnancy. I didn't get any of those things that so many poor women do get. Even the ones that don't have weight issues get these things. And I was lucky. But there was a part of me before I started Carnivore. I'm like, yeah, that luck ain't gonna last forever.
So now 5 months in, nearly 6 months in,
Yeah.
how someone comes to you for advice about getting started with Carnivore, what would you tell them with the knowledge you have now?
Clean your cupboards out. First thing is clean your cupboards out. Clean them out. Get rid of all the rubbish. Just get rid of it. If it's not in the house, I mean, I've got a family that does eat other things, but I'm very good at turning a blind eye. Oh, I can't see that. I'm very good at doing that. But if you're living on your own, or if you want to do this with your partner, your significant other, and if you make a commitment to it, the first thing I do is just donate the food that's not been opened, get rid of it, and then go and get meat. Just go and get meat and salt. Just get your pork, get your lamb, get your beef mince, eggs, and just go in at the start, all in, all hard, and get rid of as much of the inflammation as you can. And then get yourself settled into it and then start thinking about, I fancy some cheese. Have a tiny little bit. I haven't, because I'm too much of a coward, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I'd say the first thing is Oh, yeah, empty your cupboards and your fridges and freezers out of all the rubbish. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Don't even have it in the house.
I think
'Cause,
out
yeah.
of sight, out of mind is a good thing, right? And
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it really
yeah.
is.
And
It really is.
the furthest away you can get from temptation in the first few days to the first few weeks is a good thing, yeah.
Yeah, if you can avoid going out. If you can work from home, do it. Do it. Um, I mean, not everybody can do that, of course, but if you can, I'd recommend it. But, yeah, remove those temptations and settle in and get comfy because it is a bumpy ride. I'm not gonna lie. As I said, I'm not gonna wrap this up in pretty bows, but anything really, really worth it is gonna take some hard work. And at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, are you worth it? If the answer is yes, which it should be, then go for it. Just go for it. That's my
Uh,
advice.
that's a really, good question to ask yourself, you know, because at the end of the day, whatever you do now is gonna affect you 5, 10, 15 years from now, right?
Yep.
So,
And
yeah.
yeah, you could be like a couple of weeks in and you'll probably say to yourself, oh man, wish I'd have found this 20 years ago. Don't go there. You found it now. Better late than never. You're good. It's okay. You may even have children going, oh my God, I've let my children down. Oh, if only I'd known. But you didn't. But you do now. It's okay. Relax. You'll be fine. There's going to be moments where you'll get angry with the doctors, with the pharmaceutical companies, with the food companies. Please know that you're not going to be alone. I still get angry because I just want to smack them. Everything that you'll go through in the first month or so is completely normal, and chances are somebody's done a video about it. So, yeah, settle in because it is a ride. Once that fog starts lifting, you're like, wait, what? And all of these things will just go, all these little puzzle pieces will start fitting into the puzzle. You're like, oh my God. So, yeah, buckle up. But yeah, you got to ask yourself, are you worth it? And if the answer is yes,
Yeah.
go for it.
Then you yeah, just gotta get your head down, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Um, so, how can we find you on YouTube, and what kind of videos have you got coming up for us?
The YouTubes, you can find me at the Carnivore Odyssey. Um, the videos I do 2 videos a week. The Monday is the weigh-in day. And, I talk about my weight loss, how I've been feeling. And the midweek videos can be anything. It could be me having a rant, or it could be me just having a cry. Because sometimes you will. You will. You've just got to go with it. Um, and what you see here now is exactly what you get on my channel. I don't sit on silk cushions. I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered being something that I'm not. I am honest, quite raw sometimes brutally honest, and I keep it as real as I possibly can because the raw side of this journey is very, very real, very, very real. And just so we're clear, in case anybody asks, in nearly 6 months, I have not cheated once. Not once. Not once. Just so we're clear. If people want to say otherwise, good luck to you. But I haven't. I haven't. It's not worth it. It really isn't worth it. I've got a lot to do here. Yeah, so I'm at the Carnivore Odyssey. I only have YouTube for my channel. I don't have Facebook. Um, so yeah, you can find me on YouTube at the
Yeah.
Carnivore Odyssey.
Nice. So I'll link to it, link to your channel below. And Mairwyn, I appreciate you coming back on and sharing an update. Thank you so much.
Anytime for you, darling. Anytime, anytime.